since this is about gaming, let's play a quick game. It's going to take less than probably 15 seconds. I want you to look at the person just sitting next to you. Person sitting next to you. And if people who are like, this is also going to help you, move around, maybe get closer to people. And ask them their name. Go ahead, try. Exchange names. Okay, you did that, right? Did everybody do that? Okay. The person with more letters in their first name wins. Okay. So you just played a game in social scenarios. So what am I here to talk about is future of social games. And to be very frank, this is not a subject that I'm very confident about, because as Sumit, I just don't believe in predicting futures. There is some level of data that you can analyze and predict a plausible direction in which the world is headed. And maybe if it's gaming, where gaming is headed, but just predicting what the future is just crazy. So I'm going to take a slightly different path and try to solve this, or rather together solve it with you, so with some observations. So let's look at the past. I believe that for like tens of thousands of years, till the games, like the concept of game existed, it was fundamentally about engaging people, right? So I started looking on the web, things what I could find. So I found this interesting Zeros of Culture game. This game does not have rules. There are two very well-known game designers who have both of them have given their own rule sets, but they both believe that this is a two-player game and not a single-player game. So CNET was a game that was invented in Egypt. Again, a two-player game, and as you can see, it's dated back like 3,500 BC. So that's pretty old. Some of you might be familiar about this game. It's a very deep strategy game. Simple rules evolved in China. Again, a two-player game. And of course, you might know about this. Parcheesi, developed India, four-player game, probably played with teams of two. So the more I searched and the more I tried to figure it out, I found all these. And I was not able to find a single game that was solo player. Like, I just want to sleep in my bed in the corner, hidden away from the people I want to play. But then I thought that maybe I'm getting too close to board games as what we know as. Okay, what about games that people play outside of the space of on a table or in a room or outside? So what does that look like? So this is what I could find. These are the pictures that immediately resonated to me as saying playing is fundamentally social. And this is not social as the social that we keep on talking about since this morning. This is social as the dictionary meaning of word social. So when playing was always like this, what the hell happened in the middle? So this happened. Somewhere around the 80s, with the rise of technology, we thought that we are so good in simulating everything that we will simulate games, people, AI, technology, whatever it comes in our way. And that gave birth to gaming, as most of you know of. Digital games, computer games, console games. This is 1977. Atari 2600. This was the game console that I got as a kid, and I started playing games on this. This is like really, really old. This has sold 30 million boxes till date. There are still some collector's editions that you can go and buy. And you can clearly see there's a boxing game happening, 4-color, 2 people fighting, and that's it, that's the game. But 30 million units sold. 1985, Nintendo came with the NES system. You can see the graphics are improving, but still a fight game. You're still fighting, but it just looks better. 62 million units. And of course, this is just not one game. I'm just taking a reference of one game. 1995, Sony came with the PlayStation, and that, of course, much better graphics. The body more looks like humans, and there is a lot of information in the background. Environments are looking better, but still a fight game. And all you're doing is 2 people, multiplayer, sit together, mash buttons to beat the other one out. I'm going to go slightly quickly here because we are all trying to capture time. So 2000, again, just look at the screen on your right and just look at the visuals of what's happening. Fundamentally, the games are getting more and more immersed, much, much stronger in graphics, much more complex in design. This is Xbox 360, 66 million, and this is almost real-time quality that you're getting, right? This is almost as good as Pixar animations that you can see, which is post-produced. This is real-time computing of graphics. And Sony PlayStation 3. This is lifelike. This is like a movie. So what happened in 3 decades? So the hardware just exponentially exploded, right? It just went through the roof. So Sony PlayStation 3 has got 3.2 gigahertz, 8 cell processors. Like this morning we were saying that what a smartphone had the processing power of the entire NASA. This beats the crap out of it. This is so powerful. A single joystick with one controller and one button got converted into something like this. Okay, that's a standard Xbox 360 controller that you get in the market. And those are the buttons that exist on that. And the boxing game that you saw and the fighting game that you saw at the two ends of the spectrum, the controls were defined as, if I had to teach you that game, I said, joystick is move the boxer, action button to throw a punch. That's the game. And on the right is 1/10 of the number of lists of moves and attacks that you can perform on an Xbox 360 game. Okay, this is just 1/10. I had no space in my screen to fill everything up. So what is fundamentally happening in last 30 years of gaming is games are becoming more and more complex. And there's a reason for that, because your audience are getting matured. These are not fundamentally new users that is coming into the system. There are, of course, with a large number, but not the way that we know of. And when the users mature and they want more, okay, I played this, what is the next thing that's going to happen? You might have heard games like Need for Speed 1, which is on the 13th edition now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the gamers are demanding more and more complexity, depth, and immersion. And the entry barrier is just too high for someone like my grandmom or my mother or my mother-in-law, which I'm fundamentally a gamer. That's all I have done ever in my life. From 1999, where I started, till now, all I have done is made games. And for me, if my family understands what I do, it's awesome. But there's just no way I can teach them all this. Like they say, okay, you're a geek, I don't want to talk to you. But what wonderful happened was Nintendo Wii gave everyone a surprise. And at this point of time, I was at GDC listening to somebody talk a similar session like this, future of console gaming. And I bet he was wrong by a mile. Nobody ever thought that this is going to happen, where Nintendo came with a much smaller hardware in terms of scale, in terms of what it can perform. But what it did, it fundamentally said, play together. And this is one of the images that I plucked from the net. And soon Xbox followed, and Microsoft released something called as Kinect. It's a camera controller. It just senses your body movement, and then you can just play without a controller. And then Sony quickly followed with their move. So after 30 years, these were the images that I could find on the internet. What's happening? Like playing together and bringing family all together and playing together is a new cell. Ironic, right? It doesn't make sense. Because if the entire history of gaming was about playing together, what happened in the middle? So while all this is happening, of course, PC is growing, mobile phones are there, people are playing a lot of games. The social explosion happened. Facebook happened. Of course, Orkut happened. Google Plus happened. And it fundamentally changed how games are played, made, and marketed. And that's the time where Zynga was born with a single mission. And the mission was to connect the world through games. And just to give some more essence of what does that mean, there will be a lot of sessions that you can go find online about breaking gameplay or breaking play into smaller components that could be understood. Whereas we took the stand of saying, search, Google. Shop is Amazon. Share is Facebook. Play is Zynga. Fundamentally, play is something that everyone should have in their lives. And for some reason or whatsoever, it will be very wrong of me if I say, do you want to play a game? And if you say no, it would be because you're time pressed, you do not have time, or you do not have a game that is immediately accessible to you at that given moment of time. So this is the top 10 applications from App Data website. And 6 of them are games. In fact, the first 5 are by Zynga. The 6th one, Zynga recently acquired. And look at the numbers out there on the right-hand side. Those are the monthly active users for each of those games. So how did this happen? What did Zynga do differently, or how did we approach this problem? So looking at the history, we found there are 3 principles that make sense to do social games. Social. Social does not necessarily mean playing together for competition or playing together to win. Social means that you are having a conversation over play. Play is just an activity that you're doing, but there are more conversation that happens when you're playing. In the same way as you're listening to music together, or you're watching your favorite television channel together. Second is accessibility. A lot of my friends, they practically hate the games I make. They say, Sumit, you should be ashamed of yourself that you make such games which have got no depth in it. And I try to answer by this, like, is that really true? Can I spend this evening with my wife, my mother-in-law, my kid, all different kind of people, and collectively play a game and have fun? Can I do that with a game like Xbox 360 Need for Speed? Probably not. And the more I depth into it, the entire concept of accessibility made sense. Making the game so simple, so easy, that you do not need a tutorial to understand. You do not need a booklet to read the rule book. All you need to is make 2 clicks and you're inside the game. And you know what is happening. Third is free to play. And that is again helping the entry barrier. In this world, I mean, we say like around like 8 years back, the book was written, or 7 years back, I might be wrong, world is flat. There is just so much of content and so much of information that is available out there, and that is true for games as well. And a single iota of entry barrier to your game is probably a death call. That's it, you're done. Irrespective of how good your game is. Fundamentally, games are free. So these are the 3 principles that we worked upon. And those are the kind of numbers that we clocked. So there are 240 million monthly active players, 54 million daily players that come and play the games, and 450 million social interactions per day. Some more information, because we fundamentally are a very heavily data analytical company. Farmville, one of the games, a very popular games that we build, you might have played it or have heard about it. 29 million farmers compared to 2 million farmers in real world. More than 1.3 million virtual businesses, 3.1 million houses, 8.6 million sidewalks, 1.7 million community inside a game Cityville is being built each day. Every day. Words with Friends is like 1,300 moves per second. Zynga.org, one of the initiatives that we started, raised $10 million in funds from all these players for all the org facilities that we're driving. Now these are very, very, very large numbers, but nowhere close to the number of people that are still out there who can possibly play games. Games have been now considered as, you play games? Wow. Either you don't work, or you don't have a job, or your dad must be very rich. Why? Is playing really bad? Is playing not being human? Now, at this era where technology is making things more accessible, whether it's on PC, whether it's on web, whether it's on phone, or even on consoles these days, the technology is there where everything is getting connected. And there are innovative business models out there already proven that can sustain the cheapest cost, free. It's free to play. So we have the opportunity to bring play to the mass market. Finally, that is where we stand today, and we have not even yet started to bring play to mass market. That's the opportunity that I believe we have in front of us. So what's the future? I think traditional game design, as what I grew up in that market where there's a game designer, has got a lot of experience and has intuitive capabilities to make the right choices for the game, will marry data analytics of how data and intuitive game design should marry each other to come up with something that just works for everyone. Let me give you an example for that. So if you see on the right, there's a graph which you can't read, right? This is a graph from a game called Mafia Wars, and it is calculating player energy by level. And out here we can see spikes, and we can understand, oh, at level 23, when the user has spent 16.8 hours of play, when they have made 9 friends, they will drop off because my game is not tuned correctly. And you fix that, and you tune that, and you get it out of the core. That really helps us make some good choices, right? What do players really like in the game? Why are we losing DAU? Something happened, right? Did we ship a bad feature? Did something broke? Why? Or did people just thought that after 1 week of gameplay, this is not a good game enough? It settles argument. That's the biggest challenge that we face in our industry, and probably you might also be facing in yours, is, oh, I can design a game. I think red is better. So it just helps settle argument. And of course, the best course is not always intuitive. Here's another example. This is the Farmville game was doing a cross promo for another game that we had launched called Petville, and we ran this analysis. So if you see, there are differences, right? So one is red, blue, purple, green, and data proves that the purple is the one that people click more. So data analytics has gone to the level of finding that what really works. Now, there is a different science that you can pull into it. Why did that happen? And everybody can then draw their own conclusions. For me, it was, oh, Farmville is red color. Farm is red, Will is blue. So red and blue, probably it just feels part of the same thing. People don't care. Farmville is purple, green. So I can do all my math, but to be very frank, that is data right there proving to you what is working, what is not. Existing social gamers will mature. People who have been playing games for a while, they would want more experience. They would want more depth in the game. And they would command as a similar trend in console as, okay, I want more. Why is this game very similar to the one that I played? How is this different? Games will be run as services and not as products. You're running this 24/7, 365. And you are doing tuning every day, every second of the time, what is working, what is not working. And the entire model of user being engaged whenever they play in the game is going to become critical. And last and final is what I really want to see in my lifetime is this question when people ask you, do you play games? Like how many people have come to you and asked, do you watch television? Has anybody asked you ever that question? Do you listen to music? So why is this question that do you play games? And hopefully in my lifetime, we'll get over this question that do you play games? Everybody plays games. It is part of life. That's part of being human. It's part of play. Let's inspire people to put more play in their day. Let's bring play to the world. That's what the future is like. That's it. Thank you, guys.